Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. So first of all, I would like to thank Gordon Harris, our local art supply store in New Zealand, for gifting me for this video. Today we are going to test out the watercolor papers from Hahnemuhle in English. I know that they are a German brand. I don't know how to pronounce in German. I am going to test out the watercolor papers from this brand, and there are 3 different weight of watercolor papers, as you can see here. One is being 300 gram per square meters, the other is 600 gram per square meters, and the last but not least is 500 gram per square meters, and they are all different type of watercolor papers. The 300 gram per square meters one is cold it is cold pressed. The 600 gram per square meters is cotton rag, and the 500 gram per square meters is they call it rough surface. So but I reckon the surface is more smoother than the other two, and the base color of this 500 gram per square meters is whiter shade than the others. The others has more yellow tint to it. In this video, I would be testing out the art supplies instead of explaining or introducing the brands for the material that I'm using in this video. So if you would like to know more about the Hahnemuhle brand and Schmincke, then I would suggest you to go online and search for them. So here I will be using the watercolor samples from Schmincke, which is another gifted product by Gordon Harris. So here I'm showing the watercolor sample from Schmincke. 101 opaque white, 218 transparent orange, 359 satin red, 352 magenta, 494 ultramarine finest, and 524 is the May green. So the May yeah, I'm just taking off the paper out of the watercolor sample, but I will be using this watercolor sample on this watercolor papers. I am using a thin paintbrush to start with, and it is number 1 from Schmincke. I'm going to start testing this sample on the sample sheets to have an idea of the actual shade of the watercolor first. The first one is 101, number 101 opaque white. Because it's an opaque white, you cannot really see the color, but honestly I can see that the opaque white has a little bit yellow tint to it. And the second one that we tried is 218, number 218 transparent orange. It has it is really as the name suggested, it's a bit transparent. And the third color is 359 satin red. It appeared to be a little bit red on the screen, but in real life the satin red is more pigmented than the transparent orange. I would say that the satin red is a bit orange. It's not a real red, or as such it is definitely it looks like an orange to me. This one is magenta, 352 magenta. beautiful purple. The fifth one is ultramarine, ultramarine finest 494. Really pretty marine blue. And the last, one is May Green 524. I just realized that when I test the May Green, the camera hasn't captured that part, so I'm sorry about that. But the May Green is a really pretty grass green type of green, really nice. So let's while we have that those colors tested on the watercolor sample sheet, we can start applying the watercolor on the 3 different weight of watercolor papers. I'm going to test the 300 gram per square meters watercolor paper. I am so sorry that the camera is not focusing. So first of all, I am going to draft a hydrangea before applying the watercolor. So I'm just outlining the hydrangeas, and then I will add a leaf. I started using the applying the watercolor with a small paintbrush that I just mentioned at the beginning of the video, but then I realized that the paintbrush is too small, so I then switched to a larger paintbrush. This paintbrush is I purchased that like a long time ago from another art supply store, which is now closed. This one is I remember it's a real either goat hair or a horsehair brush. It is a rather it's not the largest paintbrush, but it's a large paintbrush as it is round in size 8 from Preston. Yeah, so the paintbrush, as you can see, the tip is quite big and it holds a lot of water. So later on in this video, you can see that there is a lot of water coming from this paintbrush with the watercolor. See, you can see here a lot of water with one stroke, and with each time I don't have to take up a lot of watercolor pigment from the watercolor sample, because I found that the watercolor from Schmincke is really pigmented. That's my first impression. And I am using magenta from this sample a lot for the hydrangeas. I realized that if you put a lot of water with your watercolor on this 300 gram per square meters paper, even though that it is such a heavy weight, with too much water, the paper will still curl a little bit. Some ultramarine finest blue on the hydrangea flowers. Sometimes I will use darker shade of the same color to create depth, but sometimes it will be more interesting to use other color, contrast color, to create the depth. It's more effective, more interesting. I like to do it this way. So I'm adding some ultramarine blue, create some shadow for the hydrangeas. And then I am adding, I'm painting the leaf here with May green. The green is so pretty, like grass green. It gives you a feeling of young, fresh, young leaf. Here I'm using the fine tip, like the finer paintbrush, to just draw a little bit of outline of the flowers here with magenta. The magenta from this Schmincke sample, watercolor sample, I think I really like it, and it's, to me, I think it's more like a red. It has a lot of red shades to it, rather than like rather than like purple. So I'm adding more ultramarine blue to the shadow area of the flowers. And I am adding more May green to the leaf just to create like a definition of the leaf. Later on, I will be adding some transparent orange to the leaf, just again to create some depth and also interest, to make the object more interesting. I think after this, yeah, so I'm showing you the, I'm using the transparent orange on the leaf to create some depth and also make the leaf looks more interesting and less boring. And you can see here I'm intentionally leaving some space within the leaf, and just sometimes you don't have to paint the whole object with color. The papers actually curl a little bit, not a lot, because it is still a really thick watercolor paper. And now we are moving on to the thickest watercolor paper among the three of them. We're testing out the 600 gram per square meters cold pressed and also cotton rag watercolor paper. So again, I'm sketching the outline of the hydrangea. I wanted to paint the same thing on these three watercolor papers and using the same watercolor, so that at the end we can see the difference between all of them. So just to let you know that all these watercolor papers are, they all acid free and age resistant. They're all natural white. Yeah, so I am using the same brush, the size 8 round paintbrush. Pretty much using the same, amount of water with watercolor, with that magenta. And because this one is double the thickness of the other one, of the previous one that we use, you can see, and also this one is cold press and also cotton rag. The paper just absorbs the watercolor straight away. I'm just so impressed with the thickness and also the the quality of the paper. I have used quite a few different type of papers, and I really like to use hot press. But then this one, the 600 gram per square meters one, I am really enjoying using it. Recording this as voiceover, and I am looking at the painting um, that has dried overnight. And when I'm looking at the actual painting on the 600 gram per square meters one, it's just that it has that filter effect with the artwork. It's just so pretty. I wish you can see it. Go back to the magenta and make some outline. And adding some ultramarine blue to create some depth to it. As you can see, as soon as I put the color and the water onto the paper, it's just the paper just absorbed all the water almost instantly. Can you see the difference? You can probably see the difference here. And sorry, I have done the leaf without recording it, but you can see the difference there. So I just put it side by side, and we are now testing the last watercolor paper. It has a smoother finish out of the three. In the description of the paper, they said is the front of the paper is rough. It's not as smooth like hot press. It still has a little bit of texture, but it's definitely smoother than the cold press. So we are doing the same here as the other two. Just use the same brush, same amount of water, and using magenta. I actually enjoy this one as well. Although I would say the cotton rag with 600 gram per square meters one absorb the water the most, but I'm still enjoying using 500 gram one. You can see the watercolor sit on the surface. Because of the weight of the paper, even though there is quite an amount of water put on the paper, and because the color base of the paper is whiter than the other two, actually makes the color pop a bit more. So if you prefer, if you doesn't like the paper that has a yellow tint to it, I will definitely go for this one. There is a name on each of the watercolor paper. If you are interested to purchase those papers, just go by the name. When I'm painting the leaf, you can see the water sit on the paper, on top of the paper, rather than absorb it completely like the cotton rag. And I am just go back to use more magenta and make some details to the painting. So hopefully you can see the different on this paper in comparison to the cotton rag. I love working on a thicker weight watercolor paper. Definitely thicker weight, it's more easier to paint on, and the paper just wouldn't curl at all. I wouldn't blame you if you can't see any differences, because they are all high quality watercolor papers, and also the watercolor from Schmincke, it's just so gorgeous. The color still vibrant overnight on the papers, and I highly recommend the watercolor from Schmincke, and also the watercolor papers from Hahnemuhle. I would go for either 500 or 600 grams per square meters watercolor papers from Hahnemuhle. I would highly recommend them all to you. Yeah, so I thank you again for Gordon Harris for gifting me these art supplies, and I will for sure be purchasing some of the watercolor papers from Hahnemuhle from now on. Although I have used the watercolor papers and from Hahnemuhle before, but I've never tried the 500 or 600 gram per square meters. I'm sure that these are the new supplies from Gordon Harris. But anyway, I thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these videos. There are more of these videos coming because Gordon Harris has gifted me quite a few other art supplies as well. So until then, take care.